Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I hope you and your loved ones are keeping well and that you're coping through what obviously is truly unprecedented times and a seismic shock to all of us. Some of you do know me, and for those that don't, my name is Paul Nunn and I'm the Operations Director at Advantage. And among other things, I am Advantage's link to organisations such as ABTA and the CAA. I don't usually get to operate front of house, but circumstances aside, it's great to be able to talk to you all. In today's video, I'm hopefully going to provide some clarity over a couple of the key issues which are affecting you all at this point in the crisis. So first off, and apologies for swearing so early on in the video, refunds. From a top line industry point of view, where are we at? What we know is there's a cash freeze on. A large percentage of suppliers are doing all they can to hold on to the cash they have. It's survival mode. As you also know, suppliers, I don't know any that aren't, are encouraging consumers to accept a rebook or a refund credit note. Reasons for this, again, we're all quite familiar with the why. In essence, it comes down to two things. Either the suppliers are finding it difficult or in some cases impossible to extract refunds from their suppliers, and or they physically don't have the resource capacity to process the exceptional volume of cancellations, especially now a large percentage of the industry have been furloughed. So we get that, and obviously we don't want half the suppliers we rely on to fail due to cash flow issues. However, what we do want and what we desperately need is clarity. Clarity for consumers, clarity for suppliers, and ultimately clarity for the travel agency community, who, as you all know too well, sit in the middle and through no fault of your own are left to take the stick from the consumer and potentially lose their long-term custom. And this leads me on to another issue which is coming our way. Chargebacks. This is a biggie. So far, chargebacks are largely being held back whilst the dust starts to settle. However, we know card issuers are getting more twitchy and chargebacks are building up behind the scenes. The longer refunds take, the more frustrated the customer becomes, and the longer the guidelines remain unclear or unchanged, the more likely the chargebacks will start to land on our doorsteps. So what's happening to try and address this? The key action is that the government are being pushed to temporarily change the package travel regs. More precisely, to extend the 14-day refund rule, which organisers are bound by and which clearly no one is currently able to stick to. High-level conversations have been ongoing for around a month between ABTA and the various governmental departments, and the arguments for this to happen are clear. It buys the industry some breathing space, provides some clarity and guidelines to work to, and really importantly, should be enough to prevent chargebacks, which will ultimately minimise failures. If the law states that refunds can lawfully take up to X number of months to process, then the consumer and the card issuers will have to reluctantly accept that. ABTA advised yesterday that this is all now perfectly well understood by the government and has now become a political call as to whether the government wants to support a change to the law, which in effect does not appear to be in the best interest of the consumer. Fact is, in the long run, it is in the best interest of all parties, because if mass chargebacks are put through, there will undoubtedly be failures. Therefore, the customer will have to wait even longer for a refund, and the government and taxpayers will be picking up the atoll bill. So all of this is very well, but we're in the here and now and having to deal with the situation as it currently stands, which, let's be honest, is a complete mess and hugely distressing for all of us. Again, as you'll know too well, there's no consistency. And this is what we're pushing for. Consistency and clarity. From an airline perspective, the policies vary enormously, and from a tour op angle, it's much the same. At best, everyone's interpreting ABTA's guidelines differently. At worst, they're simply ignoring them. So what are we doing to support you, the agent, during this? We're speaking to all suppliers on an individual basis, airline, cruise lines, tour ops, and revising ABTA and IATA if we view that certain suppliers aren't following their guidelines. So please continue to advise us of your experiences and continue emailing us examples of what you consider to be unfair or incorrect policies or paperwork. We're all assisting members with individual booking queries as best we can in an attempt to gain resolution with suppliers. We'll continue to champion the agent both to consumers, many of whom do not understand the difference between an agent and a tour operator, and also within the industry. Agents have their own sets of challenges as part of this situation, and we remain committed to resolving these where we can. One example of this is the refund infographic which we sent to all our members earlier in the week, and we hope this will assist in explaining the refund delays to your customers. On the final part of this video, I'd like to provide some answers to some frequently asked questions. So first off, must the supplier offer a cash refund? As we know, a limited number of tour operators and airlines are already in a position to offer refunds and are actively doing so. Others aren't able to do so and are being very vague on a date or are just simply refusing altogether. The rules on this are clear. Suppliers must offer a cash refund, in addition to instant or future rebook options. This part of the law will not change. Cash refunds are a consumer's right. It's just the timing which is being considered. If you come across any suppliers who are still refusing a cash refund, then please do make us aware and we'll take this up for you. When should they action the refund by? In terms of timelines, as we know, the package travel regs state refunds must be actioned 14 days post cancellation. As we know, this obviously isn't happening. The latest guidelines by ABTA and what is being lobbied to government is that refunds must be made by travel organisers by the 31st of March 2021 latest. Although obviously this can be actioned earlier if possible. The reason for the 31st of March is because that is when the current ABTA bonding or protection period expires. The refund credit note is the document which confirms that a refund is due to the customer, and the refund or expiry date must be stated on the refund credit note. On a positive note, our commercial team have been receiving refund policy confirmations from many of our preferred suppliers over the past few days, and many are now providing a refund deadline date, which should hopefully assist with the conversations you're having with your customers. Are refund credit notes protected by ATOL? The answer to this question is, although the CAA do not officially or publicly recognise a refund credit note, refunds owed to consumers at point of ATOL holder failure have always been and will continue to be protected by the ATOL scheme, providing a customer can prove that they were owed money. Cancellation invoices, ATOL certificates and refund credit notes could all be used to support a claim. We also understand that the CAA are almost ready to comment on the issue, and about time too. The industry and consumers desperately need the CAA to confirm protection. Just one other point on this. The paperwork needs to state refund credit note and should not mention voucher anywhere. If they do, then please let us know. Vouchers are specifically not protected and could jeopardise a future customer claim. And for the last question, what should I do to prepare for chargebacks? And also, what do I need to do if I receive one? The first point on this is obvious, and it goes without saying really, but you and or your supplier should always look to agree on amicable resolution with the customer. Maybe offering a little more, for example, a discount off a future booking might be all it takes to keep a chargeback at bay. However, as I previously mentioned, chargebacks are a general concern, and we're all hoping that measures will be put in place to ensure that large-scale chargebacks will not transpire. The first real piece of advice on this is that you contact your merchant acquirer and establish if it's possible you can be notified by email as soon as they are notified of a chargeback request. Either a daily report or on an ad hoc basis, whichever they can manage. Waiting for chargeback notices to arrive through the post, especially during this crisis, will give you less time to pull together a defence and delay your response. Each merchant acquirer will have process for contesting chargebacks, and it's important you understand how this process works. So again, contact your acquirer if you're unsure about how that works. As I previously mentioned, chargebacks will be much easier to contest if the laws on refunds are amended and once the CAA finally officially endorse delayed refunds. However, it's widely accepted that chargebacks made against travel agents in relation to bookings made with a travel organiser are not wholly credible, as any failure by the travel organiser to provide the travel service is a contractual issue between the card holder, your customer, and the organiser. In other words, you should not be liable as you have provided your agency service to the customer. The two main payment processors, MasterCard and Visa, have slightly different views on this, it seems. However, this is a stance you should take. This, along with as much information you can provide in terms of the offer made to the customer by the travel organiser. So, the rebook options, the refund credit notes, the delayed refund date, etc. It's all evidence you need to submit back to your merchant acquirer to defend a chargeback. The final point on this is that you must advise the relevant supplier as soon as you receive a chargeback notice, as it is they who should ultimately fund the chargeback should it transpire. So that's it for questions. I hope you found parts of this video useful, and please feel free to contact me directly should you want to discuss anything in the video or anything else for that matter. All that's left for me to say really is that we 100% have and will continue to have members' backs on all the challenges being thrown your way. We totally sympathise and truly understand the pains which you're all going through, which are varied and many, and we'll continue to do all we can to champion consistency and clarity with both our supplier partners and the wider industry institutions. Stay strong, keep well, and I hope you all manage to have a lovely weekend. Thank you.